Welcome to Untold History, where story meets reality and the most interesting of possibilities comes to life. Washington, 1865. The Civil War is ending, but President Abraham Lincoln cannot sleep. Night after night, visions come to him, dreams so vivid they feel like memories of things yet to happen. Lincoln had always been fascinated by dreams and premonitions. He spoke openly about them to friends and cabinet members. Just days before his death, he told his bodyguard, Hill Lamon, about a disturbing dream. He dreamed of walking through the White House, hearing the sound of weeping. In the East Room, he found a corpse in funeral vestments. When he asked who had died, the soldier guarding the body replied, "The president. He was killed by an assassin." This dream is historical fact recorded by multiple witnesses, but what if Lincoln's visions went much further? What if he saw not just his own death, but the terrible future of the nation he was trying to save? In this alternate history, Lincoln's dreams were genuine prophecies, supernatural visions that came at a devastating cost. Each vision physically deteriorated him, aging him far beyond his years. Those who knew him remarked on how shockingly he had aged during his presidency, from 52 to appearing 70. The Civil War was ending. Lincoln had preserved the Union and freed 4 million enslaved people. Victory was at hand. But in his visions, Lincoln saw what would come after, and it tormented him beyond measure. He saw the failure of Reconstruction. He watched his Emancipation Proclamation honored in letter, but betrayed in spirit. In his dreams, he witnessed the rise of Jim Crow laws, lynchings, and systematic disenfranchisement. He saw voting rolls purged, literacy tests designed to fail, and terror used to maintain racial hierarchy. The freedom he was fighting for would be systematically undermined for generations. He saw it all, powerless to prevent it. But his visions extended even further into the future, beyond America's borders. Lincoln saw the trenches of World War I and recognized with horror how it connected to his own war. The industrial warfare of the Civil War, the railroads, telegraphs, mass-produced rifles, would evolve into mechanized slaughter. He understood that the conflict he was fighting was a rehearsal for something far worse. In his visions, he saw fields of white crosses, hundreds of thousands of them, and weapons that didn't yet exist. The methods of modern war born in America would metastasize in Europe 50 years hence. But Lincoln could never share these visions. Who would believe him? How could he tell his cabinet that he'd seen wars fought with weapons that didn't exist? The few times he tried to speak of what he saw, people assumed the stress of war had affected his mind. So Lincoln bore his burden alone, night after terrible night. Hill Lamon, Lincoln's bodyguard, kept private journals describing nights when Lincoln woke screaming. Lamon wrote of Lincoln crying out about fields of white crosses and a hatred that would outlive them all. William Crook, a White House guard, told his grandchildren of finding the president weeping alone. Lincoln would sit in his office, staring at nothing, murmuring about the work left undone for 100 years. Mary Todd Lincoln, already emotionally fragile, later spoke in spiritualist séances about her husband's final words. She described his rambling, feverish visions of future wars and ongoing injustice, testimony dismissed as a widow's trauma. These fragments, dismissed, forgotten, relegated to footnotes, are all that remain of Lincoln's prophetic gift. On April 14, 1865, Abraham Lincoln attended Ford's Theater. He knew what was coming. Perhaps in those final moments before John Wilkes Booth entered the presidential box, there was relief. Relief that the visions would finally stop. that the burden of future knowledge would end. He had seen the future and been powerless to change it. Now, at last, he could rest. The gift Lincoln possessed, if gift it was, died with him that night, but his warnings lived on in fragments. Lamon's journals, discovered decades later in a Pennsylvania attic, spoke of Lincoln's premonitions of future conflicts. Mary's séance testimonies, preserved by spiritualist mediums, describe visions of mechanized warfare. Crook's grandchildren, interviewed in the 1920s, recalled stories of Lincoln's prophecies about racial injustice lasting a century. Historians dismiss these accounts as myth, embellishment, or the trauma of those who loved him. But what if they were true? What if Lincoln genuinely saw the future? What if he watched World War I unfold exactly as he had foreseen, helpless to warn anyone? What if he witnessed decades of Jim Crow oppression, knowing his emancipation had only been the beginning? Imagine the agony, to see the suffering ahead and be unable to prevent it, unable even to speak of it. To know that winning the war was only the first step in a struggle that would last generations. Perhaps this is why Lincoln's face in his final photographs shows such profound exhaustion beyond mere war weariness. Perhaps this is why those close to him spoke of a sadness that seemed to come from somewhere beyond the present moment. This is historical fiction, but it's grounded in documented truth. Lincoln did experience prophetic dreams. He did age dramatically. Those who knew him did record disturbing testimonies. We've simply asked, what if these dreams were more than anxiety? What if they were genuine visions? What if Abraham Lincoln carried not just the weight of present war, but the burden of futures he alone could see? History remembers Lincoln as the great emancipator, the man who saved the Union. But perhaps there was another burden he carried, one that history has forgotten, preserved only in fragments and footnotes. The burden of prophecy, the curse of future sight, the agony of knowing what was to come. Abraham Lincoln died on April 15, 1865, but perhaps for him, death was not tragedy, but release from visions too terrible to bear. This has been an Untold History. If you like historical fiction, please like and subscribe. Until next time, adieu.